change your attitude. It's all it takes to manifest your best life. My name is Tara. This is the Lazy Manifester, and I teach you how to manifest your best life from just basically sitting in your chair. You become the magnet. You are in control of your life. And that was so comforting to know that when I first found out about law of attraction, and that you are in control of your life, that you can do whatever, that you can manifest whatever it is that you want for yourself. You can have that dream relationship, the house, the car, the money. But it all stems from changing your attitude. Now, you may hear me say in my videos here and there about what I would say to myself when my life was crazy, it was toxic, it was chaotic, everything was falling around me, it was all just crumbling inwards, right? I kept changing my attitude. And I was in and out of victimhood. Like, why? Like, I would look at everybody else around me and they had their life together. They had the white picket fence, the partner, and the kids. And I'm like, why me? Why? I had those days, okay? It's okay to have those days. But I had to get on top of myself as well. I had to keep my head bobbing above water. And I did that by changing my attitude. By changing your attitude to more positive emotions create positive manifestations. Negative emotions create negative manifestations in whatever way that happens, right? So when I was in that state of chaos, feeling like nothing was changing, the universe was against me, I just kept saying, all of this is happening for a reason. All of this is happening for a reason. And it's because something bigger and better is coming. So see how I shifted my attitude to, looking at everybody around me and seeing all the things that I don't have. My life, like being a single mother, moving in with my parents in my 30s, I felt like a failure. There was so much shame that I allowed myself to get into such a toxic relationship. I did everything my mum taught me not to do. There was so much shame and guilt that came with that. And then looking at everybody else around me, their life was on track. They didn't make stupid decisions like I did. And so, but I knew that my life was going to get good. I just had, like, I don't know, not that I knew it at the time, but it's almost like because my life went to crap, because everything just caved in, I just felt like it was because my life was going to get great. So I had to keep shifting my attitude, and I was in and out of victimhood. You can see jealousy as looking at something that you don't have. But then see jealousy as inspiration. See it as, well, jealousy is kind of coming up because it's showing you something that you want that someone has. So it's giving you direction. It's giving you clarity about what it is that you want. Now, say for instance, someone has the partner that you want, right? You want that person. Think of it as, well, what if there's someone even better out there for me? They may have the person that you want, but imagine if there was someone even better out there for you. Change your perception. You kind of have to go bigger and broader. What if my life was meant to be better than everybody else's? Right? So in order for life to change, it starts with your emotions. The universe is a yes machine, and it talks in emotions. And I talk a lot about affirmations. Just affirm your way through life to the one that you want to create. Those affirmations, they have an emotion attached to it. Whether it's a slight hint of happiness, joy, like a little smile that kind of comes with that, with those words that you say, that's coming up with an emotion. And as I said, the universe is a yes machine. It says yes to everything you visualize, you feel. Again, visualization is just a tool to evoke an emotion. So you can use visualizations. So instead of remembering the past and, kind of getting yourself caught up in the emotions of way that person or situation experience made you feel. You have to cut yourself off from that. You have to become consciously aware that you are thinking that way and start thinking the opposite. Again, the universe is a yes machine. So if you keep kind of going back to the past and remembering all the negatives, the universe is just saying yes, 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 yes to it all. And you keep manifesting this vicious cycle of your past. And again, whatever way that manifests. So you have to change your attitude in the way of what you're visualizing. You have to become stronger than your current self and start visualizing what it is that you want to call in. And have your emotional state of joy, happiness, and gratitude. Start affirming. Even if you don't believe it. At the time, I didn't believe what I was affirming to myself. Focus on how you want to feel. Focus on how you can make your life better. And because from there, it broadens out to so many other things that can happen for you. When you change your emotional state, things will start happening that you weren't even consciously manifesting. It happens in so many various of ways in your life. And something that's coming to me right now to talk about is as you move through life, you only start getting clearer about what it is that you want. Like when your manifestations start dropping in, whether it's good or bad, it only makes you clearer on what you want, but you have to start messy. So when it comes to affirming what it is that you want, you have to start messy. So even though I'm talking about emotions and changing your attitude, I wasn't believing what I was first telling myself. And so, but I knew that I had to just start somewhere. In order to get to where I wanted, I had to just start now. I had to start messy, not tomorrow. Start changing your self-talk now. And eventually, and put a smile towards it actually. Force a smile. Because a smile is contagious. Force a smile when you say your affirmations. And then that will evoke emotions. But eventually, the emotional state will get stronger and stronger. But the more emotion you can put towards what you are talking to yourself, the better. And then the universe will just start saying yes, yes, yes to all of that. And then it will manifest in all kinds of ways. Again, in things that you weren't even consciously manifesting. All beautiful things start to happen. So focus on that free coffee. I got I remember I was having such a bad day. No, just not a bad day, just when I was just going through the roughness of life, I couldn't even afford to buy myself a coffee. I think once a week, I set aside $4 to buy myself a coffee once a week. And I would dwell in that victimhood of not even being able to buy a coffee whenever I wanted at a cafe. And one day I went to a cafe and they do, what do you call it? A pay it forward. And they chose me. I walked in, I ordered my coffee, and the owner just chose who they got to pay it forward to, or the owner, the worker. It just so happened to be the owner that was working. And he's like, a guy came in earlier today to do a pass it forward coffee. I'm going to give you the coffee. And it changed my day. It totally shifted my emotional state for the rest of the day. That person does not understand the importance of that coffee. That free coffee was everything to me. Everything, as sad as it was. But so focus on the small things. It's a free coffee. You find 20 cents on the ground. Focus on like the small good things that happen to you. So when I felt like I had nothing to be grateful for, when I was living with my parents, my life falling apart, we live rural, and so there's just surrounding paddocks. Well, at least the opposite. Behind us was like neighbors, but you know, they live a bit further apart. And then, but opposite our house was like just acres of paddocks with cows and sheep. And so, learning to teach myself to change my emotional state, being grateful for the little things, I would start going for walks around the block. And like I hated growing up in the countryside. Like I was just never a country girl. I was a city girl, and so I found it very boring. And moving back to my parents, you know, again, I had to change my attitude if I wanted life to be different. And if and you know, I knew that the only way to consciously manifest a better life was to change my emotional state. Like if the universe is a yes machine to everything that you visualize and you feel, well, the visualizations evoke the feeling. So I need to change my perception of where I live. So instead of being like, oh yeah, I live like, and don't get me wrong, like a lot of days, if not every day, you know, I kind of had this in and out attitude of this, but it's like, oh, you know, me like living with my parents, like, you know, what a blah. I had to look at it as, okay, if the universe is a yes machine, I know I'm repeating myself, then I need to change my emotional state. So what can I be grateful for? So I started going on these walks because that was my next step, right? My next step was like, okay, get out of the house, start going for walks, start feeling better about yourself. And I looked at the paddock, something that I would kind of just keep my head down and just walk past and be like, oh, it's so boring. I started to look at those paddocks and start thinking, wow, how beautiful. Like, look at those cows. They're so beautiful. And they would stop at what they're doing and just stare at you like a little toddler walking past them. And so sometimes I'd go up to the fence and like, you know, just not talk to them, but, you know, little chit chat, and see if they would come up to me. And so, yeah, I really started changing my ways. At the back of us, our neighbors had horses. And so my daughter and I would get carrots from our fridge and go feed the horses, and they would come up to our fence and start patting them. So I started changing my attitude and my views of my surroundings. It's like, hey, I'm actually, you know, I can see this is really boring, and yeah, I live with my parents, how crappy. But let's change my view on this. Let's change my perception on where I do live. It's peaceful, it's quiet, I feel safe here actually. You kind of have to push yourself just that little bit to make that extra effort to do things. Again, changing your attitude. So from there, you're going to start manifesting a better life. You're going to start becoming a magnet to everything that you didn't even know you wanted. Everything is going to fall into your lap, but it's up to you to change your emotional state. You have to change your perception on life. Now, you may have it worse than what I did. Okay, you know, my day actually didn't really have it that bad. I just, you know, it's more like being in my 30s, being a single mom, living with my parents, you know, that just, all that kind of got me down. So you may have it worse than I do, that, you know, you're not able to appreciate the views I was able to appreciate. But you have to find something. You have to find something. It's all within your control. There's always two sides of a perception of something. Just being grateful for the roof over your head. Okay, just being grateful for your sight, your limbs, like just going back to basics. The universe is a yes machine to everything you think and feel. Everything you think has an emotion attached to it. So everything you think, the universe is going to say yes to it. So it's up to you to take control, and you have all the control. You have all the power within you. You don't need anything outside of you. You don't need that one more thing. It's all up to you. Affirm throughout that's all you do is affirm throughout the day. Become aware of your internal dialogue. That's all it takes. But it's more of like a mental struggle. It's mentally hard, but you have to be stronger than your current self. You have to get outside that comfort way of thinking. And it's going to be hard, but eventually it becomes really easy and life becomes effortless. Everything will be drawn to you. Now, I don't believe that you have to, if you want a partner, I don't believe that you need to be going on dating apps. Everything that has come into my life has come in the most untraditional sense. My house didn't come through realestate.com. Everything that's happened, mentors, like just everything that has happened has not come in the traditional sense. So I believe that you can meet your partner at the petrol station, at the supermarket, down the street. The thing is, you won't have to go out of your way to meet your person. You just have to believe that they are already in your life. You have to think that they are already in your life and feel the relief. That's it. Like, you just have to feel the relief that they are there, that the job is there, that the house is there, that the opportunity is there. And you'll think that it will come down a particular way. Like, you'll think you'll have all the avenues covered in the way things will manifest. But there's always another way. It's always caught me off guard in how things manifest. Always. And at the time, it will look like nothing is happening. At the time, it looked like, well, it's not manifesting. And then eventually it did. So change your attitude to change your life. I've got my Living Effortlessly course on how to manifest an effortless life, where I go into much more detail in how to rewire and change your beliefs. And yeah, that'll be linked below. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you in my next video.